Welcome, collectors. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Diecast Emporium. So about 5 years ago, I did a video on my childhood Matchbox Caterpillar collection, the dirt machines specifically. And in that video, I promised to show you my collection of sealed on card dirt machines. So essentially, I have the originals from when I was a kid in the 90s, and then over the years, I have requisitioned a second set just to keep for me as a collector, sealed on the card. So I know it's a little bit overdue, but I wanted to go ahead and get this video done and show you what they look like when they are new. So let's go ahead and take a look at each and every single one of these. This is the storage box that I keep things in. And there's also going to be some other fun stuff in this box as we go along, such as this right here. So this is the Matchbox Premier Rigs set that had the Cat, I believe this was supposed to be a D9H bulldozer on it. You can see on the back, there were other models in this collection. There was a Pennzoil truck, American Airlines truck, North American Jiffy Lube, and Arco. But these were all limited to 25,000 of each. And as you can tell, Mattel spared no expense with making these look really good with metal on metal, realistic rubber tires, and realistic hubs. So that's the Caterpillar one. All right, what else is in here? All right, how about the Matchbox Famous Places? So this was done in about 1999 into early 2000 when Matchbox was done with the Cat Dirt Machine sets. They still wanted to do a Cat set, so they did this Famous Places series, and these building sets were inspired by famous places throughout the world. So this is the South Pole edition that had the Challenger tractor. So the interesting story about this is if you look over here at number 5 and number 6, the Hoover Dam and the Hong Kong Airport set, those actually never made it into production. They were canceled. There are a couple samples that I've seen on the internet that have surfaced of this, but it doesn't have the card. It's just a black backing to it. So for whatever reason, these final two were canceled and never made it into mass production. So there you go. There's this one. Here's the Empire State Building. This came with a backhoe and a dump truck. There's the back of this one. Here's the Golden Gate Bridge. This came with an integrated tool carrier and the road roller, and obviously a bridge that's supposed to simulate the Golden Gate Bridge. I always loved these sets. I was really quite disappointed that I never was able to find number 5 and 6. Of course, it took me years later, when I was much older, to find out that it wasn't something I was doing wrong. It's just they never released 5 and 6. And then last of the Famous Places sets, here's the Berlin Wall, or more accurately, this is depicting the fall of the Berlin Wall with the Cat front shovel and the Cat dump truck. Pretty cool. So these are also worth, in the collector market right now, they're going for crazy prices. Particularly the Golden Gate Bridge and the Empire State Building. All right, let's start with the dirt machines, shall we? Now these are not going to be in any particular order, just kind of how I have them in the box. All right, first set. This was the Road Paver set. This came with the double drum vibratory asphalt compactor, which they called the roller, and then the scraper. Interesting to note that both of these particular toolings initially started life a couple years prior to when this was released in 1998 as Hot Wheels toolings, and then Matchbox obviously just revised them for the Cat dirt machines. They also came with 2 building sets. I do not have actually either one of these sealed. I did have them when I was a kid. And then here's the other ones that were initially part of the original release. All right. So that was the Road Pavers set. Next up, we have Dirt Haulers. This is more of a mining and quarry set with your off-highway dump truck and your front shovel. Here's your little figures here. Let's pull out a chair here and start stacking these. All right. Field Shapers was up next. This had a motor grader and a bulldozer. You can see the two figures, and if you notice that flagman, maybe you just watched my recent video on the hitch and haul sets where I explained that the figures that come with that set were actually these, but back then they were painted. You can see the flagmen there. Actually, if you give me a minute, I think I still have that out and about somewhere. At least I hope I do. Should be available somewhere. Yep. So here is the flagger that comes with the brand new tilt and tip. And you can see it's the exact same guy. All right. Next up, the dirt movers. This had a wheel loader and a dump truck. I had a 929G wheel loader in the background for this, but obviously this is based on a much larger cat dozer at the time, probably a 988. Here's the back of the card once again. Nothing's really changed on these, at least in the initial release of these. Here's the Field Shapers, which had a Challenger tractor and a wagon. You can see the little auger in the middle of that wagon. A couple stacks of hay, and Farmer Bob. All right. This is probably my favorite of all of them, and it always has been. The reason behind that is these were two brand new toolings that Matchbox did just for this set and for the premiere editions of both of these, and they were very realistic. They didn't have the best functionality, but I'll be darned if they don't look exactly like the vehicles they're supposed to represent. This is the soil compactor based on the 825G, and a backhoe loader, most likely based on a 416 or 420 model. The figure is a gentleman cutting a tree down, and then you have a little gate back here, and then a construction warning sign in red. Here's another good one. Really, these last several are the best. You have a tracked skidder, grapple skidder, and then an articulated dump truck. Another guy with a chainsaw, a tree back here, and then a large rock. So the Wilderness Worker set, again, was one of the more difficult ones to find in store when it came out. And these were the second release. You can see now that the back of the card art has changed. You have another building that's been added. Talk about hard to find. I never found that boulder blasting bridge. But if you go on eBay, they're going for close to $200, which is egregious for a Matchbox toy set, regardless of what it is. Then you have the, as I mentioned, the new additions to the set. So we're going to see this version, this version, this version, this version, and this version, which again were all absent on the original 1998 Dirt Machine releases. Okay, next up. Here's the scrap haulers. You have these were actually put on the card backwards. If you notice, the integrated tool carrier with bucket is right here when it should be right there, and the material handler is right here when it should be right there. But that's all right. Gentleman with a acetylene torch for the figure, and then a couple other plastic bits for the material handler to pick up. Appreciate you guys sticking with this video. Hope you're enjoying it. If you are, let me know down in the comments section below. And also, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free, and it greatly helps with the channel's growth. All right, these are the Engineers, which were the military set that was released. Once again, this is another one where the vehicles were put onto the card butt backwards, if you will. So over here it says soil compactor, and over here it says motor grader. Obviously, these two should be switched. You have another flagman, a cone, and then a red construction barrel. That set was very easy to find. And This set was not. In fact, it took me many years to find a sealed on-card version of the Pipe Layers set with a different backhoe, and then the integrated tool carrier with forks, a couple pieces of pipe fitting over here, and then a gentleman carrying a small pipe. Again, for whatever reason, this one eluded me like crazy when I was trying to complete the sealed on-card set of the Matchbox Caterpillar dirt machines. And to close out the video, here is the final one that I have. This one nobody seemed to want in stores. Even back in the 90s, it would be known as what we know today as a peg warmer. This was the Matchbox Caterpillar Dirt Machines Road Pavers Special Edition version, where the models are in chrome and black. I assume that people didn't want it because it wasn't very realistic. It wasn't any more rare than any of the other sets, despite the name Special Edition. But yeah, it sat on the pegs forever. And just to finish it off, there's once again a look at the back of the card. So there you go, collectors. That is my entire collection of sealed on-card Matchbox Caterpillar dirt machines. Again, these are really, really special to me because they were really the first toys, quote-unquote, that I bought with my own money back in the day when I had a paper route at 7, 8 years old. Obviously, I found all the sets in the store for the most part, opened them up, played with them. You can see those original models that I had in the late 90s by checking out the link right here, and that'll take you to the video I filmed 5 years ago. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down in the comments section below. Until next time, take care, be safe, and I'll see you in the next review.